Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. Trading Jonathan Kuminga seems inevitable, for two reasons. The player will be a free agent soon, it is better to trade him than for him to leave for free. The other reason is that coach Steve Kerr seems to dislike Kuminga. Trade suggestion: Warriors sign two players in deal for Jonathan Kuminga. If Jonathan Kuminga wants to get out of Steve Kerr's doghouse and spread his wings, the Washington Wizards are an ideal landing spot for him in a potential sign-and trade with the Golden State Warriors. Bleacher Report's Andy Bailey is pushing for the Wizards to take a flyer on the former number 7 pick. Bailey's trade proposal: Golden State Warriors receive Marcus Smart and Corey Kispert. Washington Wizards receive Jonathan Kuminga. Marcus Smart is another potential risk on the health front, but his defense and willingness to move the ball would make him an easy fit with Golden State's ethos. And Corey Kispert could give them another potential game-changing outside shooter, Bailey wrote. Smart, a former NBA All-Defensive Player of the Year, has been derailed by injuries ever since the Boston Celtics shipped him out in 2023. He has only appeared in 54 games over the past 2 seasons. Joining a contender filled with championship-savvy veterans might just be what he needs to get his career back on track. The 6'7" Kispert, who averaged 2.8 threes per 75 possessions for his career, fits the need for the Warriors to have more shooters around Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Underscore 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 underscore. The tricky part of a Jonathan Kuminga sign-and trade. In a sign-and trade scenario, Kuminga's starting salary in a new contract will only account for half of the outgoing trade. So, if Kuminga signs for the $35 million annual salary his camp sought in their failed extension talks with the Warriors last year, per The Athletic, only $17.5 million will count as outgoing salary. Smart and Kispert combines for $35 million. The Warriors might have to add a salary filler, presumably Buddy Hield, $9.2 million, and the Wizards might have to give more, potentially a draft capital. This could be a chance for the Warriors to renegotiate to have their top 20 protected 2030 first-round selection, owed to the Wizards in the Chris Paul-Jordan Poole deal, change instead to a second-round pick. Renegotiating that would open more possibilities for Warriors as they will have 4 unprotected first-round picks at their disposal for a bigger trade down the road. According to The Athletic's Sam Amick and Marcus Thompson too, Kuminga returning next season to Golden State remains a possibility. But both sides are expected to explore sign-and trade scenarios, those sources said, which would open up the market and theoretically give Kuminga the contract and fresh start he'd desire while bringing the Warriors back rotation players of immediate value. The Warriors' decision-makers believe they need more positional size across the board, center and otherwise, Amick and Thompson wrote. The writing's on the wall for Kuminga. The fourth-year forward had 6 DNPs over the Warriors' last 14 games. He only played when Curry or Butler was not available during the playoffs, leading to more questions about his long-term future with the Warriors. Kuminga was a revelation in the final 4 games of the Stephen Curry-less Warriors, averaging 24.3 points on 55.4% overall shooting and 38.9% from the three-point line. But despite Kuminga's explosive scoring, the Warriors lost all those games against a healthy and athletic Minnesota Timberwolves team. Do Steph, Warriors need more shooting after postseason struggles? Bookmarker. Offense often took a back seat in the 5th chapter of Steph Curry and the Warriors being the Houston Rockets' Grim Reaper in the playoffs. A 7-game series featured 4 in which a team failed to score 100 points, and only 2 where a team scored more than 110 points. The Warriors were outscored in both those games. Physicality became the featured word for the series, far more often than anything that had to do with shooting. Sure, there were big scoring nights like Steph Curry's 2 30-point games, plus his 29 points in Game 6, Jimmy Butler's 25 points in Game 1 and 27 in Game 4, both wins, were huge. Buddy Hield was the story of Game 7, catching fire early for 33 points and 9 threes. In the Rockets' Game 5 and Game 6 wins, Fred VanVleet made a combined 10 threes, giving Golden State flashbacks of Game 6 in the 2019 Finals. But the Warriors knew if they could take care of the ball and force the Rockets into half-court offense, they liked their odds. The Rockets shot more accurately from the field in the first round than the series, 44.6% to 43.3%, and from three-point range as well, 37.4% to 35.8%. The Warriors made just 6 more shots than the Rockets. The real difference was playing today's game, taking 104 more threes than them and making 34 more. There was a 36-point difference from deep in Game 7 when the Warriors made 3 times as many threes as the Rockets, 18-6. Playing the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second round always was going to be a completely different challenge. "Look at Minnesota," Steve Kerr said Friday at his final press conference of the season. "I thought we did a pretty decent job at times in the series of defending them, but they've got guys, both Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, who were able to break us down, and then all of a sudden they're kicking out to 3 or 4 three-point shooters, including a center in Naz Reid. That makes defense really, really tricky." Find the latest Golden State Warriors news, highlights, analysis and more with NBC Sports Bay Area and California. And then the Timberwolves proceeded to miss their first 16 threes in Game 1, right after bricking 17 consecutive in their Game 5 win against the Los Angeles Lakers. That was an anomaly, and the Timberwolves got an unfortunate confidence boost despite the Warriors opening the series with a win. The shift in shooting was about to be as evident as possible with Curry injured. The Timberwolves in the 4 games Curry missed, all 4 being wins for them, put up 136 threes, 17 more than the Warriors could get off. Minnesota made 20 more threes in those 4 games than Curry's teammates, 58-38, and shot at a much better clip, 42.6% to 31.9%. Their guys weren't just making shots, but were willing to even take them. Reid's ability to stretch the floor at 6'9" and knock down threes has made him a Warriors problem for many years now. He isn't alone. The Warriors were questioning if they needed to switch more to stay in front, chasing the Timberwolves shooters while searching for points themselves. The real questions were about the Warriors' offense, looking not just like a shell of itself without Curry but a completely different system. "Can we put more lineups together that can kind of feature both shot creation and shot making and spacing?" Kerr asked. "It's obviously a lot tougher to do than to say. Looking in is the first step." The Warriors, as they retool their roster around Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green, will have to ask if players like Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody and Quinton Post are trusted enough shooters. "Yeah, for sure it comes internally," Kerr said. "We will continue to address that, and our players will continue to work on that. You see it, the modern game is about can you create shots, and then can you make shots? Can you surround those shot creators with spacing and at multiple positions? That's kind of the name of the game in the modern NBA." Edwards led both sides with 19 threes. Reid made 10. The Timberwolves as a team, even with that historically bad Game 1 performance, attempted 2 more threes than the Warriors and made 7 more. Curry played 13 minutes in the conference semifinals, scoring 13 points on 5 made shots and 3 three-pointers. Podziemski only made 4 more threes than Curry all series, and that's just because of the 4 he made in what was the season finale. Moody made 4 shots total in the series, and 3 three-pointers, giving him 5 more points overall than Curry. Post was even more unplayable, and made 2 threes in the 26-plus minutes he was given. That's also a trio that includes a second-year pro who starts in the Warriors' backcourt and a rookie who wasn't part of any preseason plans, but also a fourth-year pro, still 22 years old, who signed a 3-year, $37.5 million contract extension last offseason. The playoffs weren't perfect for Podziemski and Moody. It also has to be said that Podziemski shot 43.1% on threes the final 23 games of the regular season, all starts, and Moody was a 37.6% three-point shooter over 48 games, 30 starts, from the first of 2025 to the last of the regular season. Next season, the Warriors' starting five will begin with Curry, Butler, and Green. Steph is the one real shooting threat. The other two around him, Podziemski and Moody or not, almost have to be for the Warriors to be up to date with the game. Adding, subtracting, and developing, the Warriors need more juice, understanding who they have and if it's worth the squeeze. Dwayne Wade wasn't happy with Jimmy Butler's behavior during Warriors' playoff run. Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors were eliminated last week by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second round of the NBA playoffs. In his final two appearances of the season, Butler, 35, only scored 14 and 17 points. He failed to lead Golden State in scoring in either game, both Warriors losses. NBA Hall of Famer Dwayne Wade criticized his former teammates' approach during a recent episode of his WY Network podcast. Wade, 43, said he had an issue with Butler's passive play style after witnessing him barely score throughout Game 4 and instead choosing to create shots for his teammates. The All-Star duo played together in Chicago for the Bulls during the 2016-17 season, and Butler considered Wade a significant influence when he made his decision to sign with the Miami Heat during the 2019 offseason. Furthermore, Wade informed Butler about the type of culture the Heat's organization had developed. However, after examining Butler play during Game 4, Wade now thinks it's become an issue due to how much he gets paid along with his refusal to adopt a more aggressive approach when his team needs scoring. Wade added that he watched the same thing transpire when Butler played for the Heat, 2019 to 2025. "You getting $60 million, this ain't workin'," Wade said. "He won't look at the basket. I've seen this before. I've seen this in a Heat jersey." Wade noted that Butler's passiveness also took precedence when Heat president Pat Riley refused to give him a contract extension last offseason. Riley's refusal led to the two engaging in a feud, and that culminated in Butler demanding a trade. "When Pat comes out and says we don't want to give you an extension, it's not always an injury," Wade said. "I need to see what you'll do in every moment." Wade noted that he's seen Butler adopt a more aggressive scoring approach throughout the Heat's 2020 and 2023 runs to the NBA Finals. Now with the Warriors, Butler had shown some flashes of still being an elite scoring threat. In Game 3 against Minnesota, Butler scored 33 points, but didn't reach that total in Games 4 and 5 combined. That combined with the absence of Stephen Curry due to a hamstring injury left Golden State without enough scoring to get past Minnesota.